Hey, what's up guys? You're back with your boy TechNick, your go-to guy for videos on the latest tech. Now today we're comparing 3 of the best budget phone cameras out there. This is being recorded on the OnePlus 6T front-facing camera at 1080p. And this is the same 1080p video being recorded on the front camera of the Xiaomi Mi Mix 3, which is the next phone that we have in the lineup for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, which phone you think is powering through here, showing the best front-facing performance. And the last phone we have here, showing the front-facing camera footage with 1080p, is the Honor Magic 2. Now, there's no AI stabilization on either of these devices since the OnePlus 6T doesn't have that built in. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of the front-facing performance here.
Let me know what you thought of the mic quality of the phones. I think the 6T outshines the others when it comes not only to capturing voice but also quality and lighting. They're all running at 1080p at 30 fps on their front shooters, which is their max. The 6T has a single 60 megapixel selfie cam, the Mix 3 has a 24 megapixel main sensor and 2 megapixel depth sensor, and the Magic 2 has a 16 megapixel main sensor and 2 megapixel depth sensors. The 6T just shows how a single cam is all you really need. The 6T also seems to have the best front stabilization of the three. Where the depth sensor should come into play on the Mix and the Magic is in selfie pics and portraits, but that isn't really the case here. The 6T certainly handles light better, and the 6T and Magic 2 hold the greatest detail, but the Mix 3 seems to create the best portrait pics with its depth sensor. Recording with the front cams at night is much the same, with the 6T coming out on top. The same can be said with nighttime selfie pics. Recording with the back lenses is a bit different. The 6T has a 16 megapixel main sensor with optical image stabilization and a secondary 20 megapixel sensor for depth sensing. The Mix 3 is quite similar in its setup but has two 12 megapixel sensors, one with optical image stabilization and the other a telephoto lens for optical zoom. The Magic 2 steps it up with 3 lenses, two 60 megapixel lenses, one RGB, and one for ultra-wide shots. The third is a 24 megapixel monochrome lens for a higher detailed shot. The Magic 2 lacks any form of stabilization and relies solely on AI. In this video, all 3 phones are running 1080p at 60 fps. Strangely, the Magic 2 seems the most stable here, even without the support of OIS and EIS. Though it does lose a lot of detail, especially in the bricks on the floor. The 6T and Mix 3 capture plenty detail and keep things looking more natural. Moving on to 4K, which I have downscaled to 1080p, the Magic 2 instantly loses its stability due to it being capped at 30 fps when recording in 4K. The 6T and Mix 3 both capture 4K at 60 fps. The 6T seems to keep things looking natural and clear, while the Mix 3 does a good job too, but struggles with light and keeps things a bit dim. The Magic 2 is the brightest here, but it seems to blow things out and lose quite a bit of detail. When taking pics with the back lenses during the day, I decided to disable the AI on the Mix 3 and Magic 2 since the OnePlus 6T lacks it. All 3 come out crisp and clear, but the 6T tends to keep the sky looking more natural, while the Magic 2 sometimes decides to change the coloring of some objects and buildings. The Mix 3 is very solid and looks just as good as the 6T. When light gets thrown into the screen, the 6T tends to pull through, while the others overexpose the shots. Looking at this picture, you can clearly see how the 6T handles the sunlight and shows all detail of the sculpture, while the other 2 dim out at the focus and lose all detail. When taking pics while walking, all seem pretty solid with minimal blur. In some snaps, the Magic 2 captures more detail, but so far it seems like a bit of a mixed bag. Where it really shines though is using the ultra-wide lens to get more into the scene, but this doesn't come without a detail sacrifice. The 6T tends to get the sky a lot better as well as the color of objects. The 6T also manages to capture God rays where the other 2 underperform with too much sunlight in the background. When it comes to greenery, the Magic 2 tends to grab more color and detail, leaving the others looking washed out. When zooming in by 2 times, the Mix 3 should outdo the others due to its optical zoom, but that is not the case here, with the 6T grabbing more detail. Going in by 5 times, the Magic 2 and 6T do a decent job, leaving the Mix 3 looking inferior. Going further by 8 times, the Magic 2 captures more detail of the subject, but not without pixelizing. Moving on to lower lit shots, all do an okay job, but certainly far from the best. Portrait pictures are decent on the lot, but they all lose a ton of detail. And when taking a depth shot without a person as the subject, the Magic 2 does barely anything right. Recording 1080p 60 fps at night is the best on the Mix 3, making the Magic 2 the underperformer. 4K at night looks best on the 60 and the Magic 2 looks like complete rubbish, unable to handle any kind of light. Taking snaps at night though is a different story. The Magic 2 holds light better, but loses true color of objects. The 6T does the best job of night, but when enabling night mode on all three, it's a bit of a toss-up. The Mix 3 seems to use the feature best most of the time, brightening things up with a lack of detail, but sometimes the Magic 2 does a better job, where almost all the time the 6T changes nothing. However, when taking a pic of a playground and a mini castle, the Magic 2 does a shocking job. Like I said, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Slow motion is recorded at 480 fps on the 60 and Magic 2, but the Mix 3 outdoes itself with 960 fps, though it is really hard to shoot. Ending off with time-lapse, the 60 and Magic 3 do so at 1080p, while the Magic 2 is limited to 720p. And that's it, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below who should be the crowned winner here, and thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and until next time, guys, this is TechNick.